Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our first artwork professional development session of the year. Just a couple things before we begin. The Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge acknowledges that we are gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people past, present, and future, while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationship to the land. Lethbridge is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. I would also like to note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the AAC YouTube. So that one looks like this. If you just search in AAC Leth on YouTube, it should come up there. So if you ever want to rewatch or share with some friends, you can definitely do that. We will also have a Q&A session after the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit them in the comment section or in the Q&A box there. We will address them at the end of the presentation. So Tara will now take off and introduce the AAC and Sharon Stevens.
Hey everybody, my name is Tara Galanders and I am the project and membership manager here at the Allied Arts Council in Lethbridge. So a little bit about us, the Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge is 64 years old this year, and we are a multidisciplinary member-based arts service organization. We manage CASA, a large arts center. We run a robust education and gallery program. We run a fine arts and crafts store. We have ongoing professional development programming, residency opportunities. We sit on the public art committee for the city of Lethbridge. We organize arts days, Christmas at Casa, and more. But primarily we seek to promote opportunities for performing and visual artists and to connect and build a vibrant arts community in Lethbridge and in Southern Alberta. But tonight, right now, I'd like to introduce you to tonight's presenter, Sharon Stevens, the Executive Director of the Allied Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society. AMAS serves media artists and organizations through advocacy, development opportunities, and connecting media artists and media arts organizations across the province. Programs include educational and networking opportunities at the biannual conference and symposiums, publications, awards, sponsorships, and artist commissions. Sharon herself is a multi-award-winning media artist, activist, is an instigator who made a career of integrating art, activism, feminism, and social justice into a series of projects that enlighten, enliven, and entertain. And I would like to welcome Sharon to Artwork, and we look forward to your presentation, Sharon. Thank you so much, and take it away.
Great. Thank you for that introduction. Hello, everyone. It's really wonderful to be here this evening in my warm home studio. I just want to acknowledge that my studio it's just a couple of blocks from the Bow River, and the Bow River flows eastward toward the Elbow River, and that confluence is where Mohkinstsis was started thousands of years ago. Mohkinstsis is the Blackfoot name for Calgary, and it means elbow. And so with that, I acknowledge that we are on Blackfoot Confederacy territory, and that consists of the Siksika to the east and the north, the Piikani Kainai to the south, the Stony Nakota, and the Tsuut'ina to the west, as well as the Métis Nation. So I want to acknowledge that territory and my role as a settler on this land and work toward reconciliation. So yeah, welcome to this artist talk about Alberta Media Arts Alliance, AMAS. Tara gave a great introduction, so I'll talk a little bit about AMAS. I'll talk a little bit about our programming and some opportunities, and then I'll talk a lot more about our conference that's coming up in June of this year. So AMAS is a PASO, so that's a provincial arts service organization. And we have 17 organizational members like the Allied Arts Council and CASA in Lethbridge and LIFS in Lethbridge are members of ours. And together we represent about 8,000 media artists across the province. We're primarily funded by the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, as well as project grants through the Calgary Arts Development, the Edmonton Arts Council, and the Canada Council for projects. We really have big gratitude to those funders to support our vision, mission, and values by giving us cash. Of course, it comes with a lot of work. Those grants are not easy to write. So that we can advocate, educate, and celebrate for our membership for media arts in Alberta, the country, the world, and out of this world. I wanted to make sure that people know that we define media art basically as anything that has electricity that runs through it. So it runs the gamut. So that's one way we've really sort of simplified the definition of media art, anything with electricity. We also are, copyright is an important part of our membership values. So we define independent media artists as the creator who owns their own copyright. So our members, the member organizations, they pay artist fees to artists to access their work, and so do we. So that's one of our pillars of values. I'm going to answer questions. I don't know if you want to do it all at the end. Sounds like that might be the best plan, or maybe before I talk about the conference, I'll talk about our programming opportunities first. Just take a little drink of water here. So AMAS has actually developed some new programming over the last couple of years. The most recent one is called 1-to-1. And that was the result of, I'm actually just going to share my screen just so that you've got something other than me to look at, to show you our website if you haven't been there already. Oh yes, and that's a reminder, AMAS is 30 years old this year. So congratulations, Allied Arts. That's great. 75 years in Alberta. Fantastic. You're like a leader in that history. And AMAS, we did a short video. If when people go onto the website, please have a watch of that. It really is like a fun, quick example of what we've been doing over the last 30 years. So one of the projects that I'm really excited about is called 1-to-1. It resulted from research that we conducted by hiring a consultant to investigate the success rate of Alberta artists with the Canada Council for the Arts. And as most of the artists in the province have experienced, we do not have a very good success rate with individual applications. And so now we have a bit of proof for that. It's a beautiful report. It's on our website. It's very easy to understand. Peter Heminger was the consultant who worked on it, and he put it into real digestible chunks. So if any of our member groups or organizations are interested in using that data for anything, please go right ahead and do that. We have submitted it to the Canada Council. It's not so much to, point fingers at them, but it's to have evidence about our anecdotal evidence through our members survey as well, that indeed the numbers of grant dollars coming to Alberta are less. And what we decided out of that is that we can, AMAS can help artists apply for grants. Oftentimes, and many of you may have been to talks from funders who come and speak to a room of people, and they often are available on the phone. But what we wanted to do is pair artists with experienced artists. So we've paired mentors and mentees, and the 1-to-1, they're working right now. We had a really excellent intake for this first application. Some very high caliber established artists who are super successful with grants have been paired with artists who have not had that success. So that's underway right now. We pay the mentee an honorarium, and the mentors get hands-on feedback over the course of about 10 hours. Our next intake for that is February 22nd. So I really recommend people to consider applying for that. Our other programming that's being formalized over the last few years since I've been here is our sponsorship program. Let's see if I can just find it quickly. Oh, I hate trying to navigate my own website with everybody watching. Anyway, on our website, oh, here we go, is there sponsorship and bursaries. Sponsorship, we've sponsored the Allied Arts organization for some of their events. It's for our member organizations. It's small amounts of money, but it's to help get that media art into your programming. The bursaries are for individual artists, and there's 5 of those based on rural, local, Alberta travel, national travel, Indigenous media artists, and continuing education. So those are specifically $500 each. So that next deadline is coming up April 1st. We should have the money for that. It's really quite a coup for this to happen because funders often don't give money to organizations to then turn around and give it out. I mean, we've all done it. This sponsorship program has been around since AMAS has been around. We've been giving money to help support artists, but it was never formalized. It was often a handshake deal and it was grandfathered in. Anyway, now we have an application process that's quite straightforward and simple. Deadline, April 1st. One of the other things that we do is we offer a cash award every 2 years for the Spirit of Helen. And Helen Folkman was a fabulous media artist who lived in Edmonton. She died in 2004, and she was super involved in the media art community. She helped to start AMAS. She was involved in the national organization. And so we have developed an award in her name that's cash for anything you want to do. It goes to cultural workers in general. It doesn't have to be a media artist. It could be anyone who's in the cultural industry or the cultural arts sector. So that nomination is March 15th. The recipient is then honored at our conference, which is coming up in June. So that's one of the other projects that I'm excited about. Let me just make sure. Those are all our programming outside of the conference. What do you guys think? Is there any questions right now, or should I move on into the conference conversation?
However you'd like to proceed.
Yeah, there's no questions? Okay.
I do not see any at this time.
Okay, terrific. Well, as you know, our conference is called Out of This World, which I found out today. Larissa Lai is Larissa Lai is a novelist here in Canada. She did a talk today about her own art practice, and it was called Out of This World. So, of course, that Out of This World is not that uncommon. So, but that's what we're calling ours. This conference is our 17th conference in our 31-year history. We see it as the most important programming we provide. We did not do one last year because of COVID. We're anticipating that we will be able to meet in person for this coming conference. Some of it may be online. There may be some hesitancy to actually come. So we are going to try to provide both opportunities. And what usually happens is we host about 60 delegates, and the delegates are individual members, our member organizations, staff from member organizations, also artists, presenters from all around the province and some across the country. The attendance is highly subsidized, including travel and accommodation. Our fee structure will be announced at our membership, to our membership in March. And we also offer work study programs for students to attend for free. We had 5 positions at the last conference. And we really encourage our organizational members to close your offices and bring your staff and consider it a team building or professional development opportunity. This is the fourth conference I've produced. The first one was in Drumheller, and then Canmore and Nanton, and now St. Paul, Alberta. And my goal has been to integrate into each town that we come to. I really do not want us to be kind of like this weirdo group of artists just kind of roaming through the town. I worked really hard at outreach in each of those places to integrate some programming in centers all around the towns. So in Drumheller, we did an art walk that was sponsored by the art galleries on the main street of Drumheller. We went to the Wayne Hotel, the saloon out there, and we hosted a public screening outdoors. We were in a venue where there was a live band and some music and some animation stations where people could make animations. And we invited the town of Drumheller, and we got a few families that came. And I still am in touch with one of the youth that came, and she was super influenced by our being present in her town, and she is now enrolled at school here in Calgary to learn animation. So that's one of the nice outcomes of going to various towns around the province. In Canmore, we were also integrated. We were in an art gallery there, and a media artist from Winnipeg, Riva, I can't remember her name, but I'll find it in my head in a minute. She came from Winnipeg, and we had that installation exhibition as well. And then probably the most successful so far with each conference, it's just gotten a lot better, was in Nanton this past 2019. I initiated a program called Artist in Residence, and that was to give artists some time to be embedded into Nanton for a few weeks before the conference, to work within some structures, some buildings, some places in Nanton to bring programming to our delegates and to the public in Nanton. We were in the grain elevators, folks. If anyone's, I'm sure most of the folks in Lethbridge know about the grain elevators. There's a local bar, hotel's closed now, but it's called the Auditorium, and we took over 5 rooms upstairs there. The Bomber Museum we were also part of, and then the Coote Center for Western Canadian Heritage, which is 10 minutes outside of Nanton. And I got to tell you, we still, I go to Nanton still quite frequently, and people still talk about us. They're like, "Oh, you're the lady with the media artists." So I just am so proud of that. I think we really made an impact. They now do projections, movie projections on the side of the Nanton elevators a few times a year. So I think we're having that impact for sure. And during that year, I hired Curtis Left Hand Running Rabbit to program Indigenous artists focused on sound, which was the content of our workshop. And he also connected us with an elder from the Piikani Nation. And I gotta also say that that's improved quite a bit over the years as well. Like the first conference that we did in Drumheller, the mayor of Drumheller came and opened our conference. And then in Canmore, the mayor came, but also Indigenous elders from the Stoney Nakoda came and brought blessings and honored our conference with their greetings. So yeah, we had lots of Indigenous content, and that'll happen again this year coming up. So I usually try to make the locations partly, sometimes in the north, sometimes in the south. And so this is why we're going to go to St. Paul. And St. Paul has, it's originally known as St. Paul de Métis. It's a town that's in east central Alberta. The Cree, Dene, Métis peoples first lived in relationship with the land there. The Blue Quills First Nation and the residential school is also located in the area. And that area also housed the Ukrainian internment camps during World War I. So when I went to tour there this past summer, I met with various community leaders, and they took me around to see some of there's sculptures honoring the Ukrainians, there's sculptures honoring the Métis French. We went to the Blue Quills residential school, which is now run by the Indigenous community, and that's also where Alex Janvier went to residential school. Folks probably know his work. He's a visual artist, and I've approached him about speaking at our conference. So the area is really rich with lots of different culture. And so I'm so excited to be there. But of course, one of the things about St. Paul is that it's home to the world's first and only UFO landing pad. It was built as part of the 1967 Canadian Centennial celebrations in an effort to attract both tourists and Martians to the community. That's what their publicity says. The pad consists of a 30-ton raised platform with the map of Canada embossed on the backstop, consisting of stones collected from each of the provinces. So it's quite a structure. Maybe I could open up the photos. Well, I might hold off just one sec. It's quite a large structure. So I thought, wow, what better bunch of people to come to St. Paul, but some media artists. Maybe we can actually make a UFO land on that landing pad, or have Martians come, because the whole conference is going to be focused on augmented reality and virtual reality. So that brings me to talking about the Artist in Residency program. I feel like I'm going really fast, but I guess we'll get questions at the end. So we did a call out for an artist in residence curator mentor, and we had several applications to review, and Matthew Wright was selected for that program. Let's see, is he on our website? Uh-oh, he's not. Well, that's a little note to self anyway. So that is a role that we really wanted to make sure we had in place as a curator, similar to Curtis Left Hand helps with the conference, is to just provide support for the artists in residence. So the newest call that's out right now, in fact, the deadline is midnight tonight, and that's a call for participants. So that starts essentially right now. It goes, well, we have to extend the dates because our dates did have to change. We're expecting that people will work remotely. It's a flat fee of $5,000. What else can I tell you about it? Basically, all we need is a cover letter, expression of interest that outlines any initial ideas and research topics. We know that this might change as your residency progresses, but we just want to know what you're interested in. A resume that outlines any skills and experience relevant to this residency program. Tell us about yourself. Support material that demonstrates past projects taken on. Show us what amazing things you've done. So that application is online. Vicky Chow, who some folks may know, has been hired as the artist in residence coordinator. So she's helping to manage that. And essentially, we're looking for artists, and it can be any discipline. You could be a textile artist, but you really want to explore how augmented reality can be placed onto your current practice. So the mentor curator is not meant to give you workshops or training. We may have some of those during the course of the conference, but they're there to support. So I encourage media artists to apply, but it could also be any medium as well. Well, we're also looking for publication. For each conference, we do a publication. So this is for the last one, and we hired writer Lindsay Sorrell and illustrator Heather Kai Smith, who did illustrations about the conference itself. And then we have this a sweet booklet where we can acknowledge all our funders and sponsors. It's a booklet that this is the 5th in our series. We've got 5 others like this, not just of conferences, but there are research publications. And we also publish this is the program guide from the On Sound conference. I don't know if you could see that, but I love, this is a photo that I took when I went to the Independent Media Arts Alliance in Saskatoon. So it's the horizon, and then the designer just put sound waves on it. So this is kind of like a nice document as well for our conference. One other hunk of paper that we like is to hand out, and I think Allied Arts and the CASA have these on hand. We publish them every couple of years, and it's our statistics. It's really a calling card for funders, for sponsors, or for anybody who's trying to understand who we are and what we do. So it gives statistics like of our membership, how many members we have, how much money we help to circulate, how many employees our organizations employ across the province. So it's a great little a booklet or a brochure shaped like Alberta. So I think I'm gonna wrap up at this point. Maybe one of the things I'll say too is that we'll be staging most of our programming from the Portage College, which is right next door to the Ufo Landing Pad. It's a gorgeous college. They just upgraded all their media technology. They've got a fantastic gymnasium with tons of equipment in there, lights, all kinds of tech stuff, and a couple of beautiful conference rooms that we'll be using. And then there's dormitory attached to it that houses about 48 people in most likely, well, it is a shared situation, which is what we usually do. People pair up. So that's a dormitory will be the accommodation. There is smaller hotels as well that we may be using too. But as I said, the accommodation is included in your registration fee, and it's quite heavily subsidized. One of the other things, and I'll just show some photos after this, but one of the things that we've done at each of the conferences I've produced is we engage with the legions, the Royal Canadian Legion. And I'm a member of the #1 Legion here in Calgary, and I volunteer there. And so I just have a soft spot for legions. Plus, they're a fantastic venue. They have really good food. They have interesting people to talk to. They have usually got a stage, cheap drinks, and it's become our after party place. Or we've also programmed events there at Legions in Canmore, Drumheller, and there is no Legion in Nanton, but we had a substitute. And so there is a Legion in St. Paul. So I've already reached out to them, and they're excited about us coming. So I'll just go through photos and then open it up to questions. Everybody can see that. This was what was on TV the first night I was there, and it's ET. So I thought, oh, that's pretty apropos. I don't know if the hotel only has one channel that's all out of this world movies, but so yes, here's the Legion. They've got quite a bit of artwork. That's the other thing I like about Legions, is they do hire artists to do artwork commemorating their veterans. So, is this gonna take, oh, and then I met a puppet. This is a little puppet that he's an alien, so he interviews people that come to town. So he interviewed me. So they really take the UFO pretty seriously. So yeah, this is the Legion with the chairs up. So it's quite a large venue. This is one of the sculptures. This is the Ukrainian internment camp. So I don't know if it's visible there, but there's barbed wire depicting how they were, held prisoner in camp. And that's along this massive big lake. There we go. There's the there's the puppet. Mascot. Okay, so back to, this is Métis that were also commemorated in being part of the area there. So yeah, there's some beautiful sculptures.
Sorry to interrupt, Sharon.
Oh, yes.
We just have a request from the audience, if it's possible to make the photos full screen.
Oh yeah, good idea. Is that going to get any fuller? Wow, how's that? Yeah. We'll see. I might have to do that for each one.
Oh, that might be.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even going to try to let you read that. We'll see it in person. But yeah, what I was really taken by is like it really is like it's a area that's full of various languages. And so here's the UFO landing pad. And so Vicky Chow designed our logo. And so you'll see she sort of took the I don't know, I guess the 1960s emblem there and made it part of our logo too, or yeah. So it sits, oh, these photos are all over the place. I want you to see the landing pad more than anything, I think. Yeah, there's a huge cathedral there. Mother Teresa visited there in the 80s. So they're quite proud that she came to, there's the UFO landing pad. Of course, it's got a gift shop in it. and it's got, oh, I wonder if I can find the photo. There is people who have had encounters with UFOs, and they write about them. This is looking down from the UFO. Of course, this is the Canadian centennial flag. But it's also like it's just a fun town. Oh, I don't know if I can make this work. Across the street is a sports warehouse, and there's all kinds of stuffed animals in there and whatnot. So the artist in residence does not have to be only on the UFO landing pad. They can take up any space in St. Paul they want. This is part of the landing pad as well. It's got all the provinces' flags. Okay, so this is just some of the venue. I'm not sure these are really worth looking at. Yeah, you guys have all seen a gym before. So yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that, and I'll stop sharing the photos, and yeah, I can answer any questions or comment on anything else.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for a wonderful presentation. That was great. I will now give a few moments here to see if any questions pop up. Oh yeah, okay, so it looks like we got one question here. The question is, just to confirm, the deadline for the artist in residence is tonight at midnight?
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect, awesome. I'll just give it a couple more moments to see if anyone else wants to type in a question or two. Okay, well, I don't see anything, but if I do see something, I'll go back to that. But I just want to say thank you so much, Sharon, for coming on board. Oh, you know what? There we go. I see another question.
Oh, good.
What is your main hope for the conference?
Good question. My main hope for the conference is that it actually happens. And that it's just a wonderful meeting of minds, of creativity, and that there'll be some learning. We do. Is there an alien? Are you guys hearing an alien?
There's some feedback.
Okay. So yeah, we do plan on putting together some workshops. To be honest, as a media artist, I don't know a lot about AR and VR. So I'm hoping to learn a bit more about that. We're talking to SAIT here in Calgary about potentially getting headsets donated for the use, for our use while we're there. And potentially the Banff Center. So for me personally, I'm hoping to learn a lot more about AR and VR and, extended reality, and to see how that works. So learning opportunities, fun. We usually program fun. We've always had music, dancing. The food is paid for. There's alcohol, but you pay for your own alcohol. And it's usually quite a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody who's on as attendees can speak to the fun element. And also, because this is out of this world and a UFO landing pad, we might encourage some cosplay, some people to dress up. And the town of St. Paul is getting ready for us. I'm going to be going there at the beginning of March. They're used to having sports and golf tournaments come to town, so they're pretty excited about media artists. I'm in touch with there's an economic development organization there that's trying to get film, like economic development around film productions there. So she's working with us as well. So I feel like there'll be some rich opportunities for our members to learn about that area, to learn about the history of the area as well. Is also a goal of mine and our organization. And as I said, AMAS, we consider this to be the best thing that we do. We've kind of tossed around not doing one in person, but everybody that I talk to, my board, past board members, it really is like, it's that face-to-face, it's that connecting that really helps to gel the memory and the story and the experience that you have when you attend a conference. So those, I would say, are what I hope to accomplish.
Thank you. Another question here. Are you taking video submissions for conference?
For the application? For which?
I'm assuming so, yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
Awesome.
Vicky Chow is the coordinator, the artist in residence coordinator. So if you intend to apply, maybe just shoot her an email address. It's in the it's on our website, and just tell her that you're submitting a video. If you just need to do it tomorrow or get it in tomorrow, we could probably extend the deadline as long as you contact her today before midnight.
Thank you. Another question here. Traveling to the conference as a group, question mark?
Yes, I'm looking into that. I would love to book a couple of buses to come, probably from Calgary and Edmonton. So folks in the south would have to make their way here to Calgary. if not buses, then we do carpool. We do have a travel subsidy, so we do offer you know, some subsidy to cover the cost, some of the cost of gas, but that also means we have paired people up for carpooling as well. COVID makes all of this a little bit different, so we will be nimble and respond as we can, but yeah, there'll be transportation to get to the conference.
Awesome, thank you. I don't see any other questions here. Just give it a moment, see if anyone else wants to type something. And you've got some comments saying that they are always great conferences and they're super fun.
Oh, I should look at the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you so much. Comment. Wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here tonight. And thank you to everyone who joined us to participate in this. I'll just mention quickly that our next artwork webinar is scheduled for February 3rd, and it will be a presentation by the AFA for grant writing. If we have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to email Tara at projects@artslethbridge.org. Tara, did you want to add anything else to the end here? Oh, you're on mute. Always happens to us.
I know. You think we'd be good at this by now, but just thank you so much, Sharon. I hope you have an amazing conference. I heard all about the one in Nanton. It sounded amazing. So I think it's going to be awesome. And again, AFA, so get your questions ready, people. They're going to be there to answer questions and help you with the grant writing process. And if you want to know more about all the grants that are available, the next artwork February 3rd at 6 p.m.
Can I just have one more little pitch here before I sign off? I don't think it was clear that AMAS is open to individual members, and that's free. So anyone can sign up by being on through our website, but you need to be a member to attend the conference. Organizational membership is on a sliding scale basis. We are also looking for board members. So if anyone is interested in working on our board, it's a pretty great gig, isn't it, Colleen? Are you still here? Colleen Devine was on our board for a while. In fact, she was our board president. So we will have an AGM during the conference on July 2nd. So if anyone is interested in joining the board, please let me know and I'll put you in touch with our board president right now.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right. Well, I think that is a wrap for tonight. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Stay warm wherever you are. Take care. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.